It's officially playoff week. We are in episode 17, I believe, if we're keeping track of that. Uh, not too sure. We've got a lot so far of this year. And the big news of the week, Ferris versus Harding in the D2 champion. No, I'm kidding. It's Brawl of the Wild Week Part 2, everybody. Welcome back to the Pocket Jacks podcast. We are happy to be back after taking a bye week last week. Jack, anything new over the last 14, 20 days or so?
Yeah, I mean, much needed bye week for both of us, as you just mentioned. Get healthy, get the mind right as we head into these big postseason weeks. And if we're being honest, kind of a rough week for both you and I last week. Matt Campbell, for me, takes the Penn State job. I refreshed Twitter, and the next thing I know, the Wazoo coach is gone. So that was great. And then for you, Notre Dame it happened. What we talked about real early in the year. They won out. They weren't able to get in. I know you weren't happy about it. A lot of America wasn't happy about it. And if I recall, you sent an email to the CFP. Is that something you'd like to share with everybody?
Sure, I'll read through the whole email. It is a long email, so I'll try and read to the best of my ability and make it pretty quick. Here we go. To the College Football Playoff Committee, I am writing to express my deep frustration and disappointment with the current rules and format of the College Football Playoff following the most recent rankings. The decisions made by the committee this season raise serious concerns about the fairness and consistency of the selected individuals on the committee who seem to be quote-unquote qualified for the job. Your process as a committee appears to be fundamentally flawed and inadequate. Not only have your decisions damaged the credibility of the sport, but they also undermine the hard work of student athletes and coaches. Fans are left confused and frustrated when logic is replaced by inconsistency. Your Tuesday CFP ranking show that begins in early to mid-November has repeatedly shown its weekly rankings are often inaccurate and offer little real insight into how the final standings will play out. If the final rankings are ultimately going to differ significantly from what has been presented for weeks, then what is the purpose of releasing rankings every Tuesday in the first place? Let's stop worrying about generating money and start worrying about getting it right. You owe it to the fans, student athletes, and coaches to do your job proficiently and with consistency. These decisions have made one thing particularly clear. The criteria applied to certain programs is not being applied uniformly to others. For example, Alabama does not move after a loss, yet BYU and Ohio State are immediately penalized for losing their conference championship games. The SEC bias you hold undermines the credibility of the entire playoff system, which I find hysterical given the last two national championships have come out of the Big Ten Conference. The inconsistency in how teams are evaluated has become impossible to ignore. The problem is not just in the rankings themselves, but the message they send. When two teams are punished for losses in high-stakes games while another is effectively shielded from consequences, it creates the perception that certain programs are granted preferential treatment. Fans, student athletes, and coaches deserve a process that is consistent, transparent, and fair. Right now, the committee's actions do not reflect those values. It is becoming difficult for teams to understand what is expected of them when success or failure is measured by opinions and intangibles. Conference championships should matter, wins and losses should matter, but this season it seemed that who the team was mattered more than what the team did. That is unacceptable. The entire purpose of the 12-team playoff was to create a greater opportunity for deserving programs and ensure that the postseason truly features the top 12 teams, not just the ones favored by inconsistent committee decisions. I love the G5 programs, and they play a massive role in the college football landscape, but it's getting to a point where we need to take a step back and ask ourselves if we are truly getting the best 12 teams in. I strongly urge the committee to reevaluate the entire playoff system and make adequate and appropriate changes for the better, because frankly, the system you have put in place is broken and lacks logic. The credibility of the playoff system depends on it. College football deserves better than what your decisions have reflected this season. I hope the committee will acknowledge these issues and take full responsibility for improving the process. Sincerely, Jack. Yeah, I was pretty fired up, as you can tell. And it just comes down to, for me, it's getting the best 12 teams in. And that's what is important to me as a fan. I want to see the best 12 teams. I don't want to see Oregon favored by 21 points in the playoffs. I want to see Oregon favored by 6.5 points in the playoffs. It just creates a better viewing experience for everybody. think it creates more competitiveness, more upsets, better overall viewing experience.
Yeah, and the thing that you and I looked into, and you mentioned it quickly in your email, that is just fundamentally wrong with this entire thing is the committee is just made up of athletic directors of these schools. So the chairman of the committee, I believe, was it Hunter Yurachek or something like that? Well,
Yeah,
okay,
Arkansas.
yeah. So he's the athletic director of Arkansas. Arkansas did not win a conference game in the SEC this year, but if Alabama gets into the playoffs over a Notre Dame, over a Utah, over a non-SEC team, that's less money for Arkansas. So there is like a direct financial impact on who's making these decisions, and it's not unbiased, it's completely subjective. If you took Alabama's resume from top to bottom after the conference championship and everything and dressed them in an Illinois uniform, they'd be ranked 23rd. Like, I don't, my problem isn't with Miami getting in. The G5 is a weird year, the conference champions, whatever. It's just the Alabama subjectivity. We're going to stick them in because the SEC needs X number of teams in, or it's not the best.
Yeah, and it sucks, and I think that this Notre Dame team was a lot better than last year's Notre Dame team. So it does suck to see them get in, and it's pretty open. I mean, everybody's very beatable at this point in the year. So it will be exciting. We've got the first 4 matchups this weekend. We've also got Ferris State and Harding D2 championship. We've also got Brawl of the Wild. We've got another FCS game with Villanova, Illinois State. So we've also got NFL on Saturday. So I don't understand why they're all playing on Saturday. Like, I don't know why the NFL's getting into it, but I guess they have to. But there's a lot of football to watch for. I mean, it's going on right now, and it doesn't really stop until Monday, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much until almost New Year's, we have a couple. Obviously, they don't play on Sundays in college because they wouldn't be able to compete with the TV ratings. But the bowl games are great. We just were both on Old Dominion there. If you're in our Bowl Mania challenge, you know that wasn't a super popular pick. So we finally got one right. It took us all season, but we got it done. The other thing is, we're like anybody else. We love to complain about the college football playoff. It would be this way, it would be that way. Well, we took a little time, and we're going to try to fix it. We both came to the table with an idea. We're going to kind of try to dive in deep to it. And, you know, what's a complaint if you're not proposing a solution? So we're going to be proactive about this thing, and maybe Hunter Yurachek will catch wind of this and change how the playoff works.
Yeah, let's clip it and we'll send it to him along with the email. We'll forward him both of them.
Please see attached.
By the way, that email went to every single playoff committee member's individual email account. So it did reach them. We got a generated response from the Utah AD when he was at the meeting saying that he was at the meeting. So, yeah, playoff fix. Jack, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? What do you want to do here?
I'll go first because I kind of brought 2 to the table. I brought like a realistic one, what I would like to see, and then I brought like an unrealistic one, but I think it's just kind of fun to talk about.
Okay.
I kind of wrote this out. This is going to be a little long-winded here, but I think there's a lot of things that we need to change to fix the college football playoff that isn't directly the college football playoff. So where I'm going to start is the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fix the calendar of the college football season. The portal, the coaching, all that needs to be fixed. So week 0 is going to be moved up a week. Week 1 will be the week before Labor Day, and then week 2 would be Labor Day. So everything's moved up a week. The regular season would end the week before Thanksgiving. You're still playing a 12-game schedule. This would also align with the FCS season, where the regular season ends that week. I hate to say it. I love them. We're removing conference championship games. With this bigger playoff, having these games that kind of mean something, kind of don't. You may be punished for losing. You may not. You may be like Duke and win it, and it doesn't really mean anything at all. So I love them, but I think it's time to get rid of them. And then the next thing is we're completely removing the committee. Having these group of 15 old dudes sitting in a room being subjective, pretty much pushing their agendas on the college football world, that needs to go away. we're going back to a computer system ranking. So back in the BCS, we're going to have clear fields laid out. You're not going to be punished as harsh playing something like Notre Dame's schedule, for example, where you're playing these big non-conference games and losing close. That's not going to kill you. And I just like the computer rankings because it takes away the subjectivity of it. There's no eye test. A computer doesn't care about how big your brand is. And there's none of the, well, if you were in the SEC, you would only win 6 games argument when we're trying to decide whether to put in a 12-1 Big 12 team or a 9-3 SEC team. So Army-Navy, this is how we're going to start it because I love Army-Navy and it needs its own time. Army-Navy is going to be a standalone game on the Saturday after Thanksgiving at 10 in the morning our time, noon Eastern. So it's still a standalone game, but it's not going to be a standalone day because we are going to go to 16 teams in my proposal, but we're going to add a play-in round. You can count it as an additional round of the playoffs, but I'm calling it the play-in. So we're going to have 4 total play-in games. 2 of them are going to be on Black Friday, and then 2 of them are going to be on that Saturday after Army-Navy. So Army-Navy gets their own time. They get the spotlight like they deserve. And only the top 4 conference champions get an auto bid in, which would be determined from the regular season. That doesn't completely kill the G5. Tulane was 4th this year. Boise was 3rd last year, so they still have a shot there. An example of this year, what the playing games would look like, it'd be Tulane at Alabama, Utah at Miami, Vandy at Notre Dame, and Texas at BYU. Now here's the key. Is this all making sense so far? Just stop me if
no, this makes sense, and it's a lot of similar stuff than what I have. I mean, so keep going, but I'll show you what the similarities are.
Okay, so the big change that I think really needs to happen is, so this first round is going to happen, and they're going to advance into the 12-team official playoff, since that was the play-in round. We're going to reshuffle the rankings, so it's not a true bracket. We're going more NFL style, where the best ranked team, which in this round would be the 5 seed or Oregon, would play the worst ranked team. So if Tulane upset, Oregon would play Tulane. If it was chalk, they would play, what would that be? The 12 seed, if that makes sense. So we're going to shuffle it all the way through where the highest plays the worst, the second highest plays the second worst, and that's going to go all the way through the playoffs, all the rounds. So it's really crucial to have the 1 seed. You get a huge advantage. These are also going to be home games. Then we're going to go into our next round, reshuffle again. So the 1 seed, if we have Cinderella, let's say Tulane just keeps winning somehow, they're going to go up and they would play Indiana. So it's always reshuffling, so you don't have the Oregon scenario last year where you're the 1 seed and get the toughest draw because you catch the 8-9. That next round, another round of home games. So those top 4 seeds that got the double bye, air quotes, they're at home again. Then we get into the Final Four, reshuffle the seeds. These games are going to be on the rotating circuit of the bowl games at the Orange, Sugar, Peach, Cotton, and Fiesta Bowl. The winner of that, those 2 games would go to the national championship. National championships at New Year's Day, 3 o'clock at the Rose Bowl. And I have one caveat. If a team, and this is not a shot at Notre Dame, I swear. If a team opts out of their bowl game, if they miss the playoffs, the only reason you're allowed to is a team tragedy. We've had those in the past. Never want those. A coach leaving, retiring, or fired. If you just straight opt out, you have a 1-year postseason suspension for the next year. So we still want to make sure bowls have meaning. Like, if you make a bowl, you got to play in them.
Oh, it sounds like a shot at Notre Dame.
It was not intentional. It was not intentional. I would love to see Notre Dame Pop-Tarts Bowl personally for Bowl Mania, a little 45-pointer, but...
Well, a lot of what you said is very similar to me. Of course, first and foremost, we're fixing the timeline of the portal, the coaching changes. Like what you said, we're fixing the timeline of all this, so it probably gets moved up a week, like you said, and we're finishing on or before New Year's. So the championship game is either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, one or the other. Same thing you said. We're getting rid of the committee. using coaching polls and we are using computer rankings and we're getting rid of the committee with the subjectivity that's happening there. We're going to go back to computer rankings and let them decide. Here's the big switch for me. I heard you're going to 16. We are going to 14 team playoff. 2 teams will be getting a bye out of those 14. So there will be, there will be four games, 4 playoff games, I believe.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Or no, it'd be 6. It'd be like the NFL. It'd be 6.
6 playoff games, 3 on each side. 1 and 2 get a bye, and then like what you said, we're reshuffling every round. So 1 is going to play the lowest seed, or 2 is going to play the lowest seed, making, just like you said, it doesn't give the Oregon situation last year where you get a tough draw in the second round and you could have played somebody else. Okay, that being said, no bowl games in the playoffs. We're moving to all campus games until the national championship. I just don't love how, you get a bye, but you also forfeit that home playoff game. I think that home playoff game is important for revenue for these universities. Everything about it brings so much attention to the university that they are at, not just the football program, but the whole entire university. So it's not fair to the teams that are getting a bye to have to miss out on that opportunity as a university, as a program. So home campus games all through the playoffs until the national championship. That will be at a neutral site. 1 through 14, regardless of ranking, regardless of conference, 1 through 14, regardless of conference. This 14 teams allows a G5 school to get into that top 14 if they go 13-0 and win their conference championship. That's a realistic chance. If you go 13-0 and you win your conference championship, sure, we'll get you in that top 14 or top 18, because we're doing away with the G5 in this playoff format unless they get ranked in that top 14. I already said the 2 highest rated conference champion. Oh, sorry, the 2 byes will go to the 2 highest rated conference champions, probably the Big Ten and the SEC. Seeds 3 through 10 are going to be auto bids to get in. So if you are seeded 3 through 10, you will get an auto bid to get in. 11 through 18, there will be 4 games, and we're going to do play-in games with those 11 through 18. So let's say you get all 4 conference champions are going to get an auto bid to get in that top 18, let's say. This scenario with Duke and Virginia this year. Duke wins the conference championship. They have a horrible record. They don't get in the playoff. With this playoff format, Duke wins the conference championship. Let's say they get seeded 18. Then they have to do a play-in game against the 11 seed to get into the playoffs. So I know you won your conference championship, but you're not necessarily guaranteed a spot, but you're also not guaranteed to be out of it at the same time if you're a conference champion with a poor record. So 11 through 18 will play-in games. 11 plays 18, 12 plays 17, 13 plays 16, 14 plays 15. The winner of those games will fall into that 11, 12, 13, 14 spot in the playoff. And then every round from there on out will be lowest seed plays highest seed, reshuffle the teams. It's kind of confusing, I guess. Might not be explaining it well. If you have any questions, Jack, you're more than willing to ask.
No, I guess maybe what you said makes sense, and we're pretty much saying similar things, but just slightly different. So is it automatic Power 4 get in? So like this year, Duke, you're saying the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, SEC, no matter what, their conference champion is in the field of 18.
In the field of 18. Now, if you're in the top 10 of that, you're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. So like this year, Texas Tech would be in that top 10, Georgia would be in that top 10, Indiana would be in that top 10, and then Duke would be outside of that top 10 but guaranteed a spot in that top 18 to play in a play-in game to get in. Because then, they don't have a great record. They got to prove it one more time. Not only does a conference championship get you in, but if you're a team with a poor record and you win a conference championship in that Power 4, you got to prove it one more time. And if you prove it one more time, we'll let you in. Because, they're going to play a good team in that top 18.
Right. Yeah, they'll play a Vandy equivalent. The thing that I like from both bars that we talk about, obviously I like it, I wrote it down, is the reshuffling of seeds. I think that could be a short-term fix for the actual playoff itself, because the one playing the 8-9 in the current structure, the 8-9 is the most competitive first-round game where no matter who wins, it's going to be a tough game. I just think the 1 seed, you should get something extra for being the 1 seed in the playoffs throughout the regular season.
And to go to your point, the 8-9 is like, well, how much different is the 8-9 team from the 5? Really not much. Really not much different than the team that's right outside that cut line for a bye. So,
and we watched it last year with Ohio State, I think was the 8. So it's like, it feels like that 8-9 spot is kind of, I don't want to say it's the spot, but that's where your feistiest first round teams are going to come out of, is that game.
For sure. Could not agree more. I think that those are good playoff fixes. I mean, we both agree that the timeline on this stuff needs to change. I don't know why they haven't changed. Like, I seriously don't understand it, because it's blatantly obvious that this needs to happen. I mean, you got kids in the portal now, and there's teams that are still trying to finish their season. So, and then you've got coaches leaving, and it doesn't make any sense. And I don't know why it's taking so long for someone to frickin' do something about it, because it's pretty obvious that something needs to change.
It's the only sport that I can think of off the top of my head where people are bouncing from team to team before the season's even over. Like, let's play the full season and then have our off season.
To put it into comparison, it's like the NFL or the NBA. There's a trade deadline for a fucking reason. So you can't trade your second last game of the year. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. All right, you want to hear my unrealistic solution here?
Yeah.
Okay, so before I say this, I'm not an idiot. This would never, ever happen. Like, there's too much money involved. But we're going European Soccer League in college football. We're going to promotion and relegation. So in our top league, we're going to have 8 conferences of 8. And you play everybody in your conference. At the end of we're going to have a 12-team playoff. So the top 8 conference champions automatically in. And this isn't like SEC, ACC. This is just like regional groups of 8. So there's no patch on your jersey that you're really playing for. You're all in the same league. Below that, you have the Champions League. That's going to be your second league. Cougs would be in that probably. Your JMUs, South Floridas of the world. There's going to be 32 teams. So you're going to have 8 leagues of 4. And then below that, you're going to have your bottom 32 league. I called it the demotion league. This will be your UMasses, your bottom of the bottom. So at the end of the year, the top 8 champions of the top conference, you're in the playoffs, and then we have 4 wild card. So your best 4 teams, computer rankings, of course, not committee. And then the bottom 8 in each conference. So the worst team in each conference, if that makes sense, you're going down, and the best 8 from the league below you are going up. And nobody's safe from this. So like an example, a few years ago, Florida State went 13-0. They 100% would have been a lock to be in the 12-team playoff if it was still like that. The year after that, they went 2-10. They would have been relegated down. So there is no G5 versus Power 4. You're playing in your own leagues, and if a team like James Madison says, screw it, we're going to put $100 million into football, they can become one of the best programs, and it's not going to hold them back. So that's kind of... I would love it. I would love it too, because nobody can complain. You have a chance to get moved up. If you're bad, it sucks if your QB gets hurt the first game of the year. You're going to slide down for a year. And each league has its own playoffs.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, but now, like, nobody would. Like Arkansas and Mississippi State in, these low-level these shitty Power 4 teams, they're never going to agree to it because they know they get relegated instantly and lose their SEC money.
Yeah, no kidding.
It would be
Well,
fun though.
that's a great solution. I would vote for that.
It'd be fun. European
I
Soccer
think.
League. Come on.
Well, like we talked about it, I mean, the transfer portal is open. There's already some big names that have hit the portal. There's some more names to come. I've brought quite a few guys from that are already in the portal, and just kind of some destinations that I think are realistic and could happen. Do we want to? I mean, I think we're probably going to have a lot of similar guys. We can just start Sam Levitt. Where do you think Sam Levitt's going?
He's going to be a Hoosier. That's my prediction.
Hoosier.
I think he's going to Indiana. Signet, they got the bag for him. I think they're going to pay him. He just looks like a guy that's going to be in Indiana uniform next year to me.
All right, I like it. I got
Where do you go?
I got LSU, Miami, and Oregon. I actually don't have Indiana written down for this. Just wrote some programs down that there's a lot of similar ones as we go through this that need quarterbacks. LSU, Indiana, Miami, Oregon. It's big list. Bama. So
Yeah.
they're going to see a lot of similar ones. Dylan Raiola.
I struggled on this one. Hear me out. Penn State.
Wow. Going with
Just
Campbell.
shooting from the hip here, right? This is no research. This is just vibes. What do you got for him? I was curious.
I got ASU. Well, I've got a few schools written down, but my official prediction is ASU. He played high school football in Chandler, so I think going back maybe to his high school roots and playing in Arizona, I think is realistic.
Did you see, real quick with him? Well, two things on him. He was like hitting the portal in high school every year. Did you see that?
Moving around.
But the other thing, because he's such a Mahomes wannabe, Texas Tech posted, "We're not interested."
I saw the rumor of Texas Tech, and I immediately wrote it off. I was like, "This, there's no way. There's no way that's happening." Sorsby, do you think he goes to the draft, or do you think he transfers?
So I saw a report. I'm calling Texas Tech. His girlfriend plays volleyball. Just transferred to Texas Tech. They got dough.
He's from Texas.
I almost think that if there was one I was going to bet on, it would be that one.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech there for sure. Legway opened up the other day. I think this one could go anywhere. I mean, LSU, Tennessee, Texas Tech, Clemson, Oregon, Miami. Just all schools that need quarterbacks. I don't know, but Oregon just seems like a good fit. I don't know why.
I don't mind that Oregon prediction. I struggled with him. I went out of pocket here. Auburn for Lagway.
Ooh, I had that written down for another guy that's coming up here.
Now,
we can go through them right- Oh, go
I
ahead.
don't know. Is Bynum Brown, because if he still has eligibility, he's 100% going to Auburn with the coach. Like, that's the lock of the year. But does he? Do you know? I don't know how old he is.
He did opt out, I saw. I wouldn't be shocked if I don't know how old he is either.
Here, I'll try to do
Yeah,
a
we'll
quick
see.
little on-the-spot research. AAC.
Speaking of guys going and following their head coach, I've got Drew Mestemaker from North Texas going to Oklahoma State. Follow the coach.
I like that. I didn't have his name written down, but I like that a lot.
He's a good quarterback.
I got one for you here. The
Okay.
Duke QB, Darian Mensah, going back
Yeah.
to Florida with his coach that was at Tulane, where he originally was. Mensah transferred from Tulane to Duke. Summerall goes to Florida. They meet back up.
I don't hate that at all. That sounds very intriguing. The guy that I had for Auburn, Bryce Underwood. He's not in the portal yet, but Michigan is losing everything, and I wouldn't be shocked if they lose their quarterback too.
I wrote him down, and he was my LSU.
Okay, all right.
Going back to where he originally committed.
And another guy not in the portal yet, Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss. Does he follow Lane Kiffin to LSU? I don't know. They excuse me. They still have a playoff run to make, and then we will ultimately get that decision. would imagine shortly after.
Does Kiffin, if Chambliss is an option for Kiffin, does he go with Chambliss or does
I,
he swing a little higher?
Not if he can't get one of these other guys. If he gets one of the other guys, I bet he goes with one of these guys. But if he can't, Chambliss is on the back burner waiting.
We've talked about this in the past. I haven't even really seen rumors of him in the portal, but it's more of a vibes thing. Ryan Williams, Bama wide receiver. Do you have any thoughts there? Would that seem like an LSU spot?
Texas.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's my pick, Texas.
I'm trying to. Is there anybody else that you wrote down? Do you have any names besides this?
I had one more guy. He's in the portal right now. Incredible receiver out of Michigan State. He had 1,300 yards this year. Got him going to Notre Dame. He's a sophomore. And the only difficult thing here is getting him into school. Getting these younger guys into Notre Dame is relatively difficult. It's not too hard if they're a grad transfer. But getting these sophomores into Notre Dame is difficult. We did it with Riley Leonard. This guy is a guy that Notre Dame needs to go get. We don't need to go get 5 different guys. We just need one guy or 2 guys in that receiver room. And we've got Malachi Fields, who's going to be leaving, going to the draft. Nick Marsh is perfect to fill his spot. He's about 6'3", 215, very good receiver out of Michigan State. So,
all right, I like it. I got one more that just popped to my head because you just know he's going to be in the portal. Nico Amaliva.
oh, I thought you were going to say Pavia for another year.
Oh, we got to talk Heisman too. We got to talk Heisman for a sec.
Yeah, I mean, Nico could leave. I don't know. I don't know where he goes, honestly. Hawaii.
Anywhere that's paying. Maybe
Yeah.
he goes. Maybe shit. He might be a new pack QB. He might be a Beeve or something like that.
Well, Heisman, Fernando Mendoza, Heisman-Doza, wins the Heisman Award, has the most Heisman-Doza speech that you could imagine. First Cuban American to win Heisman. He threw in a little Spanish in there for his grandma and grandpa. Just a good kid, good competitor, good football player, and yeah, it was pretty special to watch that happen. It's a good story with him. So happy for him, happy for Indiana, first Heisman Trophy going back to Bloomington.
Yeah, and honestly, I wanted to bring up Heisman more because tell me you saw Pavia out at the clubs.
Dude, yeah, he had the sign that said like "fuck Indiana," and I mean, he put it on his story. Fuck all the voters. He's a loose cannon, man.
Yeah. Give me another year of Pavia, please. Pavia, all-time Vandy QB. He can play until he retires from the sport.
That would be awesome. Do you have any more transfers, or do you want to get into this Brawl of the Wild Part 2?
Let's go Brawl of the Wild Part 2. I don't have any more off the top of my head. If one pops to me, I'm just going to blurt out his name in the middle of the pod. So
Perfect. Well, like I said at the beginning, it is Brawl of the Wild week again. This time we're going to Bozeman, where it kicks off at 2 p.m. Montana State favored by, I think, I've seen some different numbers on this. I've seen 5.5, I've seen 3.5, with a total of 58.5. Last game was a few weeks ago in Missoula, where the Cats got the win 31-28 in an absolutely electric game. Incredible environment, pound for pound. They do a good job. I think this one's going to be very similar. Tickets are unbelievable. It was 500 yesterday for the worst seat in the building. I'm seeing today that it's about 700 for the worst seat in the building, with a lot sitting around 900 to 1,000. This is a fun one because they have never played in the playoffs. As shocking as that is, and as many as matchups as they have played, they've never played in the playoffs. This is a game to go to the championship in Nashville. This is going to be awesome. I mean, I am so freaking excited. I will be boots on the ground for this. So, and I mean, it almost feels like a winner winner of this wins, because you have Illinois State, who took down NDSU earlier this year in the playoffs a couple weeks ago. So the winner is going to face Villanova, and the winner will face the winner of Villanova versus Illinois State. And I think the Grizz and the Cats are both better teams than both of those teams. So I'm sticking to my guns here and going Cats. I think that this is just, I don't know. I think that Vegas wants people to take the Grizz kind of with giving them 5.5. And then, I don't know, the fact that Montana State got it done in Missoula makes me believe that they can also get it done in Bozeman. I'm going Cats money line. I don't have a play on the spread.
Yeah, this game is going to be so fun. Also, Grizz and Cats, like 1 o'clock on ABC during the playoffs, like during the FBS playoffs. This is just a huge game. This is probably the biggest Cat Grizz game ever. Like you said, you never want to look ahead, but I think the winner of this game is almost guaranteed to be at least a 10-point favorite in the championship game, regardless who wins that Illinois State versus Villanova game. I think Cats and Grizz fans need to say thank you, Illinois State, for beating NDSU, because that would not be the same if NDSU was still on that side of the bracket. But this game is going to be great. One thing, if you've been in Montana this week, it's been blowing like 70 miles an hour all week. Are we going to be getting any of that? I'm seeing gusts up to 30 in Bozeman. If it's real windy and real shitty, that definitely favors the Cats.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like wind and precipitation alerts. I don't know what's going to happen. It seems like it's been changing quite a bit. So I'm just kind of holding out that it's not going to rain. If it's a little windy, that's fine. I think that does favor Bozeman, though. And yeah. I don't know. It's going to be a good game. Hopefully there's a sweet flyover. We talked about it earlier. We wish that this was the 5:30 slate, because that's where that Villanova and Illinois State game is. And God, this game at night could be a problem for Montanans. I mean, it would be reckless.
Yeah, it's going to be rowdy there. It's going to be nasty. I'm gonna go with the Grizz again. Straight cheer bet. Grew up in Missoula. Didn't go to either school. The Grizz, though, I know the Cats beat them last time. The Cats beat them by 3, and there was a pick 6. So that game pretty much came down to one play. I think this is the best offense the Grizz have had in years. Like, I can't even think to the last time they've had an offense like this. So I know they can play with the Cats, and they have looked better in the 2 rounds of the playoffs, in my opinion, than the Cats. They've put up back-to-back 40-plus bombs. The Cats kind of struggled with Yale a little bit, but we always said it, throw out the records, but you're deep in the playoffs this time, so boots on the ground for you. This game's going to rock.
Yeah. Oh, probably going to be a sweet flyover. I cannot wait for this game. And I think a lot of people will be tuning in not from Montana. Like, I think that people are starting to realize that this game is different. And it brings the energy, and it will not disappoint. It will be a good game. I don't think either team blows anybody out in this.
Yeah, and like you said, we got the FCS playoffs this week. We got the college football playoff this week. This is the most expensive ticket out of them all, and it's not close. I know that has to do a little bit with stadium size, but we said this is the Montana Super Bowl. Well, this is the Montana Super Bowl to actually like almost win the Super Bowl. So I asked you last time, are you going Cats gear this time, now that you're in your home ground?
I am going Cats gear. I got a hat and a shirt, so it'll be good. It'll be a great time, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of Grizz fans in that game. It sounds like they sold a lot of. Well, first of all, the tickets did not go out to the public through the NCAA tournament. I mean, they had them sold out before they could open it up, between season ticket holders, player tickets, faculty, whatever it is. They had those things just sold out, and we mentioned it earlier. It doesn't matter if you play this game in Missoula or Bozeman, you're not going to have enough seats, because so many Montanans want to see this. That we need 50,000 seats for this game, and it's just so hard to do it because we don't have a pro team but we're still open to the idea of $1 million rancher to set up a stadium like Hole 16 of Waste Management with the stands and everything. Let's make it 50,000 seats. We'll set it up in the big field. You guys get the lawn all nice and groomed for them, and come on, it would be awesome.
It has to be in Butte too. It just has to.
Yeah, we'll shuttle people in. It will be great.
Oh yeah, what a game!
What a game. Can't wait to watch it. That's the only really smaller game that I've got for you. And then besides that, I want to go through these playoff games. So is that kind of what you were thinking?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Sweet. Well, let's start in chronological order here. We'll go Friday night game, 6 p.m., Norman, Oklahoma, where Oklahoma Sooners take on Alabama. Alabama favored by 1.5 on the road here with a very low total of 40.5. We saw Alabama lose earlier this year. We saw them lose last year to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's won the last two matchups. It was 23-21 this year. Pretty close game. This is interesting to me because Alabama hasn't lost to the same opponent twice in one season since 1893. And they played Birmingham Athletic Club. So it has been some time since Alabama lost two to the same team in the same year. It's hard for me to side with Alabama because I think that defense is really going to matter in this. And with a total of it being 40.5, I think they're saying that defense is going to matter in this. Bama's 117th in running the ball this season. I don't think that's ridiculous for an SEC school. Give me Oklahoma plus the 1.5. I think I might get burned on this, but that's just what I want. Oh, I'm going to cheer for Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I've been seeing this has been ticking towards Oklahoma. I just saw ESPN even had Oklahoma at -1.5, but they've been a dog ever since this game has came out. I'm with you. I don't honestly know. I think there's a very good chance whoever wins this game gets daddy whopped in the next round by Indiana, just because the last time Oklahoma had a big win was against Alabama. Alabama played so bad against Oklahoma, 3 turnovers, still somehow hung in there, played an FCS team, barely beats Auburn, and then if you were out there watching the SEC championship, they were barely getting first downs against Georgia. That game might as well have been 42-0. It was not nearly as close as even the score said. So I'm also going to go with Oklahoma, where that defense seems to be magical. And I remember last year as well getting cute with some of these road teams in the first round of the college football playoff. The home team went 4-0 against the spread last year. So I'm gonna keep riding with the home teams. Give me Oklahoma at whatever it's at.
Yeah.
I'll just go Oklahoma money line.
Yeah, I like it. And it feels like a square play to me. I think Oklahoma is going to take massive money from the public. I think a lot of people think Oklahoma is going to win this game, and that scares the hell out of me. But Oklahoma, we're both on them. It'll be a good game, hopefully. Low scoring game, maybe a boring game, but
The Friday night upset. You know that's scary.
that's true. Friday night home dogs. That's how it's been all year.
We got one. One last ride on the Friday night dog.
And do we get College Game Day in Norman on Friday?
Yeah, they're doing the double. They're doing
Sweet.
so if you're at work, maybe click that thing on around 2:30, have her in the background, and then they're getting up, and I think they're going to Miami and A&M on Saturday too.
Perfect. That'll be a great game because that's the one we're moving on to next. Number 10, Miami, catching 3.5 against Texas A&M in College Station Saturday morning, 10 o'clock our time, Mountain Standard, with a total of 49.5. Miami leads this series 3-2, and Miami won the last one in 2023. Now, this is another one that's going to be a great game. I'm Texas A&M all day here. What about you?
You know, I'm going to go road here. I'm going to go Miami. Texas A&M has kind of been on the slide. They had the South Carolina game, and then they got beat by Texas. I know we said after the Texas game, well, this is kind of like Ohio State last year. I'm just going to kind of have a take that the middle of the SEC is not way up and above the top of the other leagues. So I'm going to go with Miami here. And Miami can play with them on the line of scrimmage, which is usually where the SEC dominates, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we're going to be on opposite sides here. I have a couple things I want to say. Marcel Reed, Texas A&M quarterback. He's a streaky quarterback. He can get on the turnover train at times, so that is a little scary. But like you mentioned, I mean, these lines, the strength of Miami is their rush defense. Texas A&M has one of the best O-lines in the country. So I like that. It'll be a great matchup up there with those big boys banging. 82% of the handle on Miami, which I like being on the opposite side of that. This is the thing that got me. Miami's played three games outside the state of Florida. They went 1-1, and 2 of those teams were winning teams. Now, also, Miami has played on the road in front of 49,000, 45,000, 35,000, and 67,000. This is going to be 100,000 people. And I don't know if Miami is going to be able to have... I just might scare them a little bit. I think the energy in the stadium here, one of the best college football environments in all of college football and College Station, it's going to be rocking. I think that Texas A&M matches up with them well. It's all about how Marcel Reed can play if he limits the turnovers. Texas A&M, baby, gig 'em.
Yeah, this. I have a complaint about this game, actually. Why is Tulane Ole Miss not the 10 a.m. game, and this is the primetime spot? They should have this be the night game.
Yeah.
Tulane Ole Miss was the easiest early day game choice in the world, in my opinion.
And it's like, it's a 17.5 point spread. Let's put the close games as the prime time.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm complaining a little because I want to watch Cat Grizz and be locked in on it, and this game's going to be like wrapping up pretty much when Cat Grizz is going. But, yeah, I don't know. This one's hard. This is a hard game. I mean, you saw both. Notre Dame played both these teams right off the bat. It's kind of crazy. They're matched up.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Yeah, it'll be a good matchup. I think they're both pretty solid. I don't think either of them is going to win the Natty, but I think they're both pretty solid football teams.
Yeah, and who do they? The winner of this plays Georgia?
No.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tough bit. Tough draw.
They were wishing they got the Boise draw from last year.
Yeah. Yeah, gonna be a great game. I'm gig 'em. You're on Miami. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Moving on, 1:30 Saturday in Oxford, where Ole Miss is taking on Tulane. We just mentioned it was a 17.5 point spread. Huge total of 56.5. This is the only game it's not the only game, but out of the group of 5 games, this is the one that I could see getting a little chippy. Like, Tulane beat Duke, who won the ACC. They're a pretty decent team. They obviously won their conference. I don't know if they have firepower. I know that Ole Miss has lost Kiffin. How much does that really matter? I think it matters quite a bit. I don't know how much it matters against Tulane, but it's going to matter down the road a little bit. And then the pressure's on Ole Miss. I mean, they're going to be at home where they only won by 1 point to your Cougs. So they're beatable at home. And then Tulane, they get a $100,000 donation from Sumrall earlier this week. Absolutely love that guy. Fucking round of applause for him. That's leaving a place better than you found it. And just a very high-class move by Sumrall there. The spread's telling you to take Tulane. I don't know. Like, this is an old SEC rivalry, too, so it could
They're close to each other.
Get close? Yeah. But I told you earlier that I'm rooting for the playoff committee to look like fools. And for the playoff committee to look like fools, I need Tulane to lose by 50, JMU to lose by 50, and Alabama to lose by 50. So I'm on Ole Miss minus the 17.5 here. Complete cheer bet.
Yeah, I don't have an actual play on this game. I find it hard to make a play on this game because I'm in the same boat. If out of the JMU Oregon game and this game, I think everybody agrees that if there were to be a crazy upset, it would come out of this game. It's just more realistic. I think Tulane would probably smoke JMU too, honestly, if they were to play each other. I'm gonna pick Tulane plus 17.5 just as a cheer bet because talk about two different exits. Kiffin gone, not coaching, trying to poach players. Summerall, he's going to Florida. He's staying. He donates $100,000 to the school, and he's telling the recruits that he signed to stay at Tulane. So he's doing everything he can to come out on good graces. I love that from him. So give me some magic. Tulane plus 17.5. You want to hear a funny bet that I was thinking about doing, and I think it's stupid, but I'm not going to do it. JMU and Tulane parlayed first quarter money line. 3-0.
Could be fun. Could be fun.
Because if they can maybe get up 3-0 and get stopped, then it's like, boom, you won.
Good for 30 minutes of football out of each of them, or 15 out of each of them.
Yeah, I hope Tulane keeps it a game. I don't know if they will. The Cougs played Ole Miss, gave them everything they had. I don't think Ole Miss they're sitting duck in the next round, in my opinion. If I was one of those four teams, that's who I would want to draw.
Yeah, and I agree. And I didn't mention this, but Ole Miss did play Tulane week 5, and it was 45-10. Now, I know that Kiffin was there, and that definitely has a factor into this. I think it'll probably be a closer game than 45-10, but yeah, it could go either way. It could be closer, it could be a blowout, and then Ole Miss is probably not looking up from there.
Yeah, it could definitely be one of those games where we blink and it's 24-0, 10 minutes to go in the second quarter, and it's like, well, that was fun. On to the next game.
Yeah. Yep. Well, speaking of going on to the next game, we will move on to the next game. Last game of the slate before we get into filling out our brackets, where we're going to do that on the show here with you guys. JMU going to Eugene to play in Autzen, 5:30 Mountain Standard Time. Oregon's laying 21. Total of 47.5. These teams have never played each other. So, first time in Autzen. I think they're going to be a little starstruck. And, I don't know. It's a tough travel for JMU. They got to go all the way across the country. It's one of the best G5 teams on the line of scrimmage, but not when it comes to Oregon and some of these big schools. JMU was lucky to get in, so I don't know. They played Louisville better than Miami did. They were tied in the fourth, and the wheels fell off a little bit. Coach is going to UCLA. Billy Napier is going to step in and coach for him. Not obviously during the bowl game, but next year. I don't like either way on this. I think Oregon gets up big and they kind of just do what Ohio State did all year and just kind of mulch the time. They don't really try and blow them out, or, they keep everybody healthy. Get everyone out of the game, put the backups in, and just get it over with. So I don't like picking a side here, but for a cheer sake and for the podcast sake, I'll go Oregon, minus 21.
Yeah, I'm on Oregon as well. I think one thing that's interesting is you can, some of these games, if this was a week 3 game, you could maybe argue JMU a little bit more. It's not often that a top team like Oregon plays a lower level team and they have 100% of their attention is on this game. And that's it. Because they're planning for James Madison. They know they're playing James Madison. Like you said, it's also just a brutal travel spot for JMU. I heard a JMU fan say, and congrats to JMU on a great season and making the playoffs. We're not trying to come on here and shit on JMU. That is not what we're trying to do. But their Super Bowl was making the playoffs. And now they're like, oh shit, we got to play the game. So hopefully they keep it respectable. I did see some guy. Tell me you saw the thing that the guy said this having G5 in the playoffs is a safety issue. I'm like, no, a safety issue is having Grambling State play Ohio State. That's a safety
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I don't know
yeah,
if you've seen any of the JMU social media, but they are hilarious. Like they're pulling up like Oregon against purple teams is however many wins, and they're just pulling up the crazy stats. They're saying Oregon's scared to play them. They're talking all this shit. It's pretty funny.
did you see the video of the Oregon receiver running in slow motion and they quote tweeted and said, "This guy's the slowest guy I've ever seen in my life." Shit like that.
It's like
But
filmed in slow motion.
yeah, the video's in slow motion. Jamie was like, "This guy's the slowest guy I've ever seen in my life. There's no way." So
Are you
shout out
going?
to their media account.
Are you going JMU here?
No, I'm going Oregon. I
Oregon.
like Oregon a lot here. This is JMU. The Stars. Like I saw something. 80 things went right for JMU to get in the playoffs. If we kept this exact same format, I don't think this would ever happen again. Where
No, I don't. I don't think so either.
it was just, and the ACC said they're fixing their tiebreakers. I'll say for another episode, the ACC they're a disaster. They got half their teams are playing 9 conference games, the other half are playing 8. Make that make sense.
Yeah, and the only thing good I do have to say about them is their official review with the referees mic'd up is pretty awesome.
I like that. Yeah. Shout out to the ACC.
One positive, one negative. Well, a lot of good football on Saturday between the NFL, FBS, and FCS, also the D2. Let's get into the playoff bracket here. We just went through a couple playoff games, gave some takes on here. Let's start you at the top, and we'll go James Madison versus Oregon. We both got Oregon. Moving on there.
Yep. Quick.
Moving on to the next one, we've got Alabama versus Oklahoma. I've got Oklahoma moving on to the next round to face Indiana.
Yep, me too.
Tulane, Ole Miss. Got Ole Miss moving on to face Georgia.
Yep.
And finally, last one, Miami, Texas A&M, where I have Texas A&M moving on to play Ohio State.
And I'm going to go the Canes here. We're going to get a road team that's going to get their first win ever in the college football playoff. I'm going to go with the Canes here. Change it up.
Perfect. So then next round, we've got the same matchup here at the top in the quarterfinals, which will be played New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Oregon, Texas Tech. I'm taking Texas Tech. I think it comes down to defense in the college football playoff this year, and I think Texas Tech's got an elite defense to go along with an elite offense.
Yep, I'm also on Texas Tech. One thing just looking ahead, brutal travel spot for Oregon. This game's in Miami. So that's about as far as we can get. That game's going to be very, very good. That will almost be a pick if I were to predict the spread right now.
Yeah, I think so too. Next game, we've also got the same Oklahoma, Indiana. I've got Indiana. I think that after winning that Ohio State game, that defense is really impressive. And this is going to be a game that I think is going to have a very low total with two great defenses. And then from there, I'm just siding with the Heisman on the offensive side of things. So Indiana to get it done.
Yeah, I like Indiana here as well. Very low total, probably a close game, but Indiana proved they can muck it up and beat these teams. So I'm going to ride with them as well.
And then
Georgia,
Ole Miss, Georgia. I'm taking Georgia here. I just said it's going to come down to defense. I think Georgia's got the better defense. You've also got the Lane Kiffin exit, which I think is worth quite a bit. So I've got Georgia moving on to the semifinals in that matchup.
Yeah, I have Georgia as well. Same thing. This is going to be great atmosphere. This is going to be in New Orleans, so close travel spot for both these teams here. I like Georgia. I think the coaching edge in this deep into the playoffs is really going to make a difference. And it's frankly very unfortunate that Ole Miss doesn't have their. I just wish Lane Kiffin was coaching.
Same. And not to go back and talk about what we already did, but like you mentioned, if Tulane were to win this game, it's a home game for them in the Sugar Bowl against Georgia. It's
Yeah.
in New Orleans, so give me Tulane to win 2 rounds in the play. No, I'm kidding.
Tulane making a run.
Roll wave. Okay, last game where I have Texas A&M against Ohio State, and you have Miami against Ohio State. I'm taking Ohio State. I think this is a similar situation with Ohio State where they lose to Michigan last year. They get it off their chest. Now they're back on schedule. They're focused. They're ready to go on a deep playoff run. So give me Ohio State to beat Texas A&M there.
Yeah, I have them against Miami. I like Ohio State as well. Not I didn't pick Texas A&M, but looking at this game's in Dallas. This is like a semi-home game for A&M if they were to advance. So, but Ohio State, they travel with the best of them, so it's not going to be too big of an advantage. But yeah, Ohio State here, love them.
Yeah. And then semifinals where January 8th and 9th. These will happen. Texas Tech, Indiana. We both have the same semifinal matchup there. Where I'm taking Texas Tech to upset Indiana. They've got a great defense. Bayern Morton, Bayern Morton, however you say his first name. He's a good quarterback. It's his last year. I think this is going to be just a dogfight of a game, and Texas Tech gets it done.
I did not expect you to have that. I also actually have Texas Tech winning this game. They got dudes. They got money. I don't care what patch is on Texas Tech's jersey. They can play with anybody. So I like Texas Tech here.
Yeah. Texas Tech going to the national championship where I have them playing Ohio State. I have Ohio State beating Georgia in the semifinals. And then, yeah.
Yeah, well, it looks like we have the same bracket, and I'm assuming you have Ohio State winning.
I have Ohio State winning.
Yeah, me too. So we have one game that's different. First round game, Miami, Texas A&M is going to decide who has a better bracket between you or I.
These are going to be so wrong. It's unbelievable.
Oh yeah, no. Quick question before we get in Lock Dog Parlay. If you were to last year, Ohio State won the championship out of the first round. Give me a first round team that can make a charge.
Give me Oklahoma.
All right.
I
like that.
I think that defense is elite. I think Mateer's still a decent quarterback, although he doesn't look great at times. But yeah, give me Oklahoma. I hate Oregon, so.
Yeah, it's different this year because of they were doing the seeding last year where if you won your championship you got a bye, so that second round was kind of the weird round if you remember that. But Ohio State, they didn't have no easy draw. They beat Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, Notre Dame. So that's
What would your pick be?
I'm trying to think who would have the best chance of winning their next game, and it feels, you know what, I picked against them, but Oregon, because I think Oregon will win their first game. Obviously, they could beat Texas Tech, and then you give Indiana and Oregon a rematch. You could blink and Oregon's in the national championship.
True. That's a good point. Really good point. Well, should we get into the Lock Dog Parlay?
Yeah, I am ready. I got my lock. You want me to just pump it out quick?
Yeah, go ahead, because this is tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ducks minus 21. It kind of kills me because I'm a big G5 guy, but I just don't. Oregon's locked in on this game and way better. So Oregon minus 21 with maybe a little bit of a statement play, and also the atmosphere is going to be like nothing JMU has ever been in.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I'm gonna go Texas A&M laying the points. I think they're a better team. I think if Marcel Reed doesn't turn the ball over, this should be cash with ease. And then same thing that you just said about JMU. I think Miami hasn't seen a place like this. At least this Miami's team hasn't seen a place like this where there's going to be 100,000 people in uniform screaming at you. So I'll go Texas A&M. I was on the fence about picking Oklahoma, but if we're a road team to win, I'm a little scared that Alabama's going to win that game. So Texas A&M for the lock. Dog. God, this is tough.
It's like, I mean,
Because I've
should we, like,
already.
can you go bowl game if you want, like true bowl game?
I was gonna say, can you? Yeah, let's go bowl game. I was gonna go. I was gonna go a game that was actually already being played in. It's Delaware against Louisiana. Obviously, you guys won't see that until the Delaware game's over. It looks like they're up 10-3, so that would
That's,
have been a good play.
I got my dog. If we're going bowl games, you know where
Yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
going. Cougs, baby,
Yeah,
all
I
the
saw.
way. No coach, but we still got a QB. Um, yeah, Cougs, baby, in Boise.
And I'm gonna go to a game that is it's not being played till Tuesday, which I guess is within the week of us recording Wednesday to Wednesday. I don't know the line on this game. Do you know if Ohio's a dog?
They are. They're 6.5 point dog.
Yeah, give me Ohio.
All right, I like it. They're playing in Frisco. A little
Yes,
late night
sir.
action. Um, Here, before we hop off here, let me pull up the Bull Mania and give some shout outs. And I think one of
Parlay.
those shout
What do
outs
you want
might be heading your way. I believe you're the last unbeaten in the group.
4-0?
You are the only. Hold on, let me go to the next page, see if anybody didn't order. You are the only 4-0 person in our 45-person group. That's
Let's
crazy.
go. 4-0. I love it.
4-0, and we've had. But I mean, the Washington game was a bigger spread, but besides that, they've all been 3 point spreads. So they're impressive. Drew Clump got a big lead early. You got 83 points, still got 1076 remaining. You're at 1081, which would be a perfect Bull Mania. If you go perfect, that would be insane. Connor McCarthy in third. He came on the pod. Bill Nolan. Yeah. You know, it's not how you start, it's how you finish on these.
It is. It really is.
But man, what a start from you, 4-0. Good God. Imagine parlaying that. That's like a 15-1 there because there's Old Dominion's a dog and
Hey,
Jack State was a dog.
and how many people have Delaware? Probably not very many.
Here, let me pick. I'm on Delaware. Let's see. Definitely more Louisiana's. I mean, we got to pat ourselves on the back. We just got done with this Old Dominion game. There was 3 Old Dominions, and 2 of them are on this freaking booth, this remote booth right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, don't look at our records. Just look at our, from the Insta, look at our Bull Mania. I'll tell you everything we need to know.
Yeah, shout out to everybody that joined the Bull Mania. We got about 45 people in there, so if you're, I mean, there's probably not anybody that's going to hear this, but winner's going to take $30 less of the pot. The other 30 will go 20 to second place, 10 to third place, and so it'll be about $420 that you take home for first place there.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody. Great, thank you for paying, making it easy on us. We wanted to run this, but we didn't want it to become a big task in our lives. We both have jobs as well, so we love it though. This is probably the best Bull Mania pool I've ever been in, and we've both been in a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do a parlay before we get off here?
Oh Jesus, I almost forgot about the parlay. Let's what do you think about, I know I said Tulane on the pod. What if we just take, here's a thought, we just take the 2 big ones. We just go Oregon Ole Miss with the points. I mean, do you have any
How
other
do,
ideas? Like, should
how
we
do
go
you
bowl game
feel?
parlay?
How do you feel about a prop parlay? I don't think we've done one all year.
All right, I like that.
Um,
Let me
I'm
see.
gonna go.
I'll go. Oh, I got one.
Okay,
I know it's against your lock a little bit, but I'm gonna go Malachi Tony anytime touchdown.
love it. I think that's perfect for a parlay. Um, trying to find pretty decent sized spreads.
Jeez, Ole Miss running back has 20 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's probably like minus 800 to score a touchdown, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Let's go. Can we do like an anytime turnover for Oklahoma?
Did we try to do that for the LSU game and it didn't work? Do you
I don't
remember
know.
that? Do you remember us trying to do LSU to get a pick?
Yeah, I'll have to
I
check
wish we
that.
could run
Otherwise,
that Grizz game.
let's go to. I don't know. Do you feel more comfortable with Concepcion to score a touchdown for Texas A&M or for? Wait, don't you have one in that?
Yeah, I have
Oh yeah, you
Tony.
have Tony.
What about does Dante Moore run?
Yeah, we could do that. I was thinking about that.
Should we do like a Dante Moore anytime?
Yeah, let's go that. And then first option, if we can get Oklahoma anytime turnover, we'll do that. Otherwise,
Okay.
we'll do the Dante Moore anytime.
Okay. Love that. Absolutely love
Perfect.
it. Oh, and
All
our
right.
dog. We didn't talk about it much. You tied it up. Tulane, conference champion. I went full Ofer. Locked on parlay last week.
That's right. That was like 2 weeks ago, so I was jogging my memory. Yeah, that we're tied up. Let's see if anybody can take the cake this week. Otherwise, we'll just keep it rolling until we. If we're tied at the end of the year, we'll figure out something to do.
Yeah, yeah. We'll do a little long drive contest. Just as long as it's not a 3-point shooting contest.
A full golf match. You get 10 clubs.
Taking the 4-iron out.
Well, thank you everybody if you're still here. Enjoy the week of football. Enjoy the Brawl of the Wild. We will be trying to stay in touch with the social media, get some videos from the game.
Yeah, love you guys.